So good evening all. Welcome to this technical talk on how business analysis helps in delivering effective business solutions. And this is conducted by the IEEE Kerala section Consultant Network Affinity Group. So about business analysis, it is used to identify and articulate the need for change in how organizations work and to facilitate that change. So business analysts identify and define the solutions that will maximize the value delivered to the stakeholders by these organizations. And about our speaker, Fathima Suhair, she is a lead business analyst at Adaptive US in Bangalore. She is currently engaged in establishing and maintaining Adaptive's learning management system, Succeed, which is used by thousands of business analysts across the globe to save time and money on their IIBA certification
Then
journey.
I will do the introduction of the speaker. You just welcome all the people and then I will do the introduction.
Okay. Uh, so, welcome to this technical talk. We are very happy that we have a lot of participants today. We have about 24 participants, and I welcome all of you to this event, and also our speaker, our guest for this program, Ms. Fathima Suhair, to this event. Thank you. So you can.
Okay, thank you. Then he is the secretary of Kerala chapter of Consultant Network Affinity Group of IEEE. And this, I would say, Kerala's what we call CNAG is slightly different in its functioning in that many people in Kerala who could be consultants never realized the potential to be a consultant, not for actually establishing a company or making money or anything of that sort, but one's experience and knowledge, if that can be used for solving a problem which is actually of a larger dimension, affecting somebody else, or in other words, your expertise could be utilized for solving somebody else's problem. In essence, finding solution is the business of consulting. And many of us, we are not considered ourselves as consultants. So really what we want to do is create an atmosphere where we are able to realize ourselves and try to sort of develop further our knowledge and try to apply it at whatever age you are. Maybe you are retired, or maybe you are too young and starting a startup or a career or an enterprise. Yet, at any stage of your life or your career, you can still be a consultant. And so this is the kind of message we want to send. And in that respect, the last talk that we arranged with two German experts, Walter Danner and Katharina Danner, we found out that the success of a consultant depends upon your continued sticking on with the client and trying to help him solve the problems, and along with the clients come to a successful end. So this time we are actually looking at the same issue of consultancy from a different angle. That is actually from the angle of looking at as a business thing. Any business to succeed, there are certain formulae or certain procedures and certain checks and balances that you have to actually have. And about that, we have actually a very experienced lady engineer to speak to you. And this lady engineer, I would say, has been a good student, has been first engineering degree was BE honors from Pilani Institute. and she has lived for long in Middle East, and she has been grabbing almost all the cups, medals, and certificates as a Toastmaster, advanced Toastmaster, and Toastmaster coach, and Toastmaster evaluator, and all that kind of thing. So there, I think there is nothing that is left to her. So we expect a good toast from her today as her speech or presentation on this very complex subject, which many of us have not understood, even though we are almost about to close our career, because we have never tried to look at it from a business angle and a business analysis point of view. And more than that, she is having an MBA in what you call subject of
Consultancy management.
consultancy management itself. That is where the great beauty of it is concerned. So the consultancy is also something to be managed. That is the message she is actually giving. Apart from that, I would also, not very jokingly, but seriously, I'm telling, if Modi comes to know about all the hoarding of gold that she has, because I know from school leaving onwards, she has always been getting for every examination only gold medals. I don't know where she is actually hoarding all those things. And at least till engineering pass, I have actually tracked, and she was having that. And that way, she is actually a wonderful student. And also, she has been a practicing international standard propagator. That is, many large institutions have been not only here in Germany, in US, and in many other countries, also in Middle East. She has actually helped several large companies uh, through ISO certification, not only certification, in maintaining those standards, it requires a lot of effort when the diverse work that they are doing and all that thing. Anyhow, about which she will be talking, I just wanted to say that very rounded personality she is, and a good speaker, a good student, and a good professional. Uh, I think we are lucky to have got Fathima Suhair, who is a leading business analyst, currently working for Adaptive US Incorporate, but there are many other bigger names that she was actually associated earlier, as far as I know. But let all those things come out while she is talking, and at the end we will have also some session to interact with her to clear our doubts, ask new questions, and expect some tips and suggestions for developing consultancy in Kerala. Thank you, and on to Fatima Suhair for your very uh, awaited, long awaited, or much awaited presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, VKD sir, Chairman of IEEE Kerala Consultants Network, for that wonderful introduction. I'm kind of feeling really, really overwhelmed by that introduction, and it just made me feel whether you were talking about me or about somebody else. And when you spoke about all the gold, I was what quickly came to my mind was the gold that my parents gave me for my wedding, and it's all in the locker. So that's what quickly came to my mind, honestly. Okay, so so regardless, okay. So thank you so much, and I would like to thank my father as well, A. Suhair, vice chair of the this consultants network, and Jitin for that introduction. And I would like to thank all the wonderful team at CNAG for having me today and for doing such an awesome job in delivering quality content and value-based webinars for the benefit of the consultancy community. So you people have been picking up really wonderful speakers. I mean, I'm not sure whether I am part of that, but then at least for the past couple of meetings, I know that you have been very choosy about the kind of the trainers that you that you pick and the kind of value that you deliver through these kind of short webinars. So I would also like to thank all those who have taken time out of their busy schedule and joining me and joining the team at CNAG today. And it being a Saturday, I really appreciate that you have taken some time out today. It really shows your commitment and willingness to learn, expand your knowledge, and even open up new avenues in your career. So by the end of this webinar, I really hope I will be able to give you some insights on what is business analysis, how to conduct business analysis, how do BAs add value to organizations, how can you become a successful business analyst, and how to launch your career as a BA. So yeah, that's pretty much what I intend to cover during this webinar. So let's see if time permits. So before we dive into the topic, I would like to ask a couple of questions, some really simple questions. And the first one being, what is business? So this is a term that we have been hearing for umpteen number of years, and I'm sure we have some really good consultants or businessmen and women out here who will be able to answer this question for me. So can you quickly unmute yourself and tell me, what is business? Anybody? So we have a couple, how many participants do we have today? So anyone? I'm sure there are like a lot of consultants here. So if somebody could at least give it a shot, like, what is business?
Ratnakumar, can you suggest?
We have, I know.
Okay, let me try my. Okay, I think it's an activity wherein the investor would like to have its returns made multiple times.
Right. Okay. Good one. Will anyone else try to give it a shot? Yeah, so maximizing return. So you're pretty much close to that. So a business is an organization or an entity that tries to sell goods or services for profit, right? So now, can business be done by one person? Yes, certainly business can be done by one person, and that's how most of the businesses, giants have emerged. So behind every business is a man or a woman who understand the business, the market needs of the time. They have a vision, they have passion, and they have purpose. So over time, more and more people come into picture and partnerships evolve, and that's how businesses typically grow. So let's take the case of Dhirubhai Ambani. He had a humble beginning, he started his work in a petrol pump, and it's his farsightedness, commitment, and business acumen that resulted in the Reliance Industries. So we have many really fascinating examples, like Oracle. Oracle is a multinational computer tech corp which was founded by Larry Ellison. So he was a college dropout. He dropped out of college twice, and he held on to odd jobs for more than about 8 years or so till he finally came up with Oracle. Then we can even think of examples like Forever 21, this giant fashion store, which was founded by Do Won Shang. So he worked as a janitor, pumped gas, he, served coffee to make ends meet, and ultimately even he hit big. So business is all about the inner drive, the passion that you have, and how you really give value to your customers. So that brings me to my next question. What is analysis? So who is going to answer that for me? What is analysis? So Jitin, would you like to give it a try? What is analysis according to you? I'm sure you're an engineer. Are you pursuing your engineering studies, or you've
Oh, I finished my engineering studies and I'm
right?
working in banking sector.
Oh, great. Okay. So just can you tell me what you think is analysis?
I believe that we all need to analyze the information available and then make the decisions. So in a business, I think that we need to keep on innovating
Mm-hmm.
so that our business sustains for the future.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so to put it in simple terms, analysis is nothing but it is a process of breaking a complex topic into smaller parts so that you get a better understanding of it. Now, when you start with something big, it's impossible for you to swallow things. So what you typically do is you break it down, break it into really small aspects so that you can understand it and get a better insight of it. So is analysis a one-time activity or is it a ongoing activity? Now, if you think analysis is just a one-time activity, you are possibly mistaken. So what happens when you don't analyze your business on a regular basis? So when you don't analyze your business on a regular basis, your business is just not going to grow. You will continue to do the same thing over and over several years, and you probably just expect the same results for years and years, or you may just even get wiped out completely. So all of us know what happened to Nokia and Kodak, why they just got wiped out completely. So the reason is because technology moves incredibly fast, but many industries or companies, they just don't keep up to the pace at which technology is traveling. Sometimes there are people who are just so averse to technology, they don't just want to start using or start experimenting new ways or new different ways of doing things. So, but there are others who moved much ahead of time, and I am sure you would have heard of the Zoom boom, right? So, all of us are in Zoom today, and today Zoom is worth more than the world's 7 biggest airlines. So, can you believe that? That's the kind of growth that Zoom has attained. They got established about 10 years ago, but then the last 2 years was like they just skyrocketed. And there are things in Zoom which I never imagined, which we could do, like, art and craft classes. It never occurred to me that art and craft classes or music classes could be conducted through video conferencing. I always had that notion in my mind that somebody has to really sit with you and teach you these kind of skills. So, but today I do see see people conducting classes in Zoom, and that is the kind of potential that technology has. So, the power and potential of information technology is so much that organizations have realized that if they embrace technology, they can benefit tremendously out of it, and if they don't, they are just going to be left behind. So let me be very honest, marketplace is brutal. So it's a very competitive space to be in. So it's not meant for those who do not adapt to change. They are just not going to survive. So in order to find better and efficient ways of doing things, you should constantly analyze your business and make the necessary changes. Now, business analysis is not something which came into existence yesterday. So from time immemorial, people have been, business analysis has been in existence, and we have been practicing it knowingly or unknowingly. So that's the way a traditional business was conducted. But the business that we know today, the business analysis as we know today, it emerged with the advent of information technology. And you can look at it as an integration of business and technology. So as a practice, business analysis probably started in the 1940s when the first programmable computer came into existence. So that's when, back then, the use of computer systems were primarily for government or universities or organizations. And there was a lot of glitches in the sense, like, data storage was a major hurdle in order to scale further. So that's when things gradually improved, and moved on to 1990s, that's when there was a sudden and a rapid increase in the need to incorporate the use of information technology in business. And there was a sudden spurt in the demand for software developers. I mean, everybody was looking out for software engineers. People wanted to look at, I mean, there was a really, really great growth in terms of software development and the need for developers. So at that point, the value of technology was really apparent. I mean, it had started becoming very obvious that if you incorporate technology, you can advance at a faster pace. But then what happened was there was a large sum of money being spent on software rewrites. There was a lot of money spent on updates to meet business needs or maintain costs. Maintenance costs, resolving software defects. The whole reason why there was such a thing happening was no matter how experienced the business user was in their area, and no matter how experienced the programmers were in their respective areas, there was a communication gap between the two folks. Okay, that was making it really hard. So the business users, they could not speak the technical language to specify their needs effectively to the programmers. And the programmers, on the other hand, they could not always interpret what the business users were trying to convey. So that's how business analysis was born. And since then, business analysis has gained significance because businesses often turn to technological solutions to solve problems, and BAs are designed to handle this. They act like a change enabler. They act like a bridge between the business folks and the technology folks, so that they understand business, they understand technology, and they can seamlessly act like a bridge between the two, so that there is sufficient understanding of the business needs. So, and then moving on further, there was a growing interest in the business analysis profession itself. So in 2003, IIBA was founded, which is the International Institute of Business Analysis. So just like we have IEEE, the BA folks have something called IIBA. So that's like the body specialized to upskill BAs across the globe. And then they started coming up with a body of knowledge. It's like the industry best practices, which a BA should know in order to perform their job effectively. And then started the CBAP certification. A lot of certification and things like that came into picture. So that shows that, okay, there is a growing awareness of the BA profession, and people are really, really appreciating the way BAs carry out work. So now let's see what business analysis is all about. So I've just given you a quick gist of how BA, so far we have just taken a look at what is business, what is analysis, the history of business analysis. So now you are probably thinking, what is business analysis? So now business analysis is the practice of bringing about a change. This definition may sound a little over your head, but I will try to explain it by breaking it down further. So the practice of bringing about a change within an enterprise by identifying needs and coming up with solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. So now, what is change? So when we look at change, we are looking at positive change. We don't want to bring about a negative change that will destroy the reputation of the company or make them go 100 years backward. So that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at positive change. So by change, we are, what I'm trying to say is probably the organization is carrying out things in a certain way today, but over time, if you improve their processes, or if you bring about some kind of automation or eliminate redundant activities, you will be able to make things better for that organization. So that is the kind of change from the way you are performing today to a better way of performing. So, and you can bring about this change within a product, it can be within a process, it can be in your organization or enterprise. And how do you do it? You do it by identifying needs. So now every business user, or at the base level, at the ground level, every businessman would have some kind of needs in their mind. So now needs are problems, or it can be even opportunities. They would like to resolve some kind of problems, or they would like to tap into new and better opportunities. So that's what you're trying to look at as a business analyst. So you're identifying needs and you're coming up with solutions. So as a business analyst, you're not somebody who just looks at, okay, I understood your need now. Okay, I cannot do much about it. I'm going to leave. That's not the kind of attitude that you have. You have to come up with some solutions. Let's say you come up with three, you do an assessment and then you come up with three solutions, 1, 2, 3, and then you do some kind of a cost or benefit analysis, and then you tell them, okay, solution 1 seems to be the best for you, and let's go ahead with that. So that's the kind of solution, I mean, that's the kind of approach that you have to take. And when you come up with a solution, when you finalize what solution you're going to recommend, you have to ensure that it is adding value to your stakeholders. So make sure that they benefit out of it. There's no point in recommending a solution that that your stakeholders will not use in future. So you as a BA should ensure that you are delivering value, and they start seeing and start experiencing value in their day-to-day life. Now, what prompts an organization to go for business analysis? So there could be, like, several reasons. They are probably having a redundant system in place. I mean, they would like to just scale up and start making use of new technology, or they are probably looking at changing the way they are functioning currently, and they would like to bring about improvements in those areas. So why would they really want to do it? So they would want, I mean, the businesses would want to do business analysis because they want to be competitive in the market, and they would like to get an edge over the others. So therefore, it makes sense to either have in-house BAs, like you can have a full-time BA, or you can hire, engage with BA consultants who can just give you some clarity on your way ahead, and then your team in your organization can take it forward. So that's what prompts an organization to go for BA, business analysis. Now, what is the kind of organization that benefits out of business analysis? I would say all kinds of organizations would benefit, be it profit or non-profit, government, regardless of what is the nature of that organization, they can really benefit out of business analysis. Now, how to conduct a business analysis? Typically, the whole process starts by understanding the enterprise problems and goals. So at Adaptive, the organization that I'm currently working in, a couple of years ago, we were into multiple areas. We were into training, we were doing product development, we were doing consulting assignments. So there was a lot happening. So what we decided at the strategic level, with the co-founders and everyone involved, we decided, okay, let's not focus on too many things. Let's try to focus on at least some area. And what we decided is, okay, we will specialize in the area of business analysis. We would our goal or objective would be to become a renowned leader, or the world's #1 leader in the area of business analysis certification trainings and BA skill development globally. So from multiple areas, that was our current state a couple of years ago. Today, we are specialists, and we are known to specialize in the area of business analysis certification. So our tagline used to say, like, think BA, think Adaptive. So that's the kind of market recognition that we wish to attain. So that's typically the first thing that you would do in business analysis. And your life as a business analyst, let me tell you, it is all about stakeholder collaboration and communication. So if you feel like you are somebody who just needs some peace of mind and you would just sit at a corner and work, probably business analysis is not that kind of a work meant for you, because as a BA, your life is all about dealing with stakeholders, collaborating with them, communicating with them, trying to understand their needs and empathizing with them, and so many things. So the first thing we covered already, understand the enterprise problems or goals. Then look at analyzing business needs. I mean, there can be certain existing solutions. Try to see what it is doing. See what is the kind of business needs that the business users have. Devise certain strategies so that you can move forward to accomplish your future state. Then start defining the scope of work, like the plan your BA work. It's impossible to try to do so many things simultaneously. So let's focus on some area and get it done. Then we move on to other areas. So as a business analyst, a major portion of your life as a BA would be eliciting requirements. I mean, you gather requirements, prioritize them, describe the requirements in sufficient detail so that your development team understands and they can start implementing solutions that will not result in defects or something at a later point in time. So you do a lot of groundwork so that things become easy at a later point. So as a business analyst, you would also be driving change. And by driving change, I mean you would be interacting with the development team, you would be interacting with the project manager, the sponsor, the domain SME. So you would have to typically deal with a lot of people so that you push them to move in a single direction, and that you typically ensure that all of them are moving towards a common goal and they do not stray away from the goal. So you drive that change and you also assess effectiveness of the change. So suppose you helped somebody in implementing a change. So you don't really say, okay, I'm done. My job as a business analyst is done. So that's not the case. You have to ensure that the change that you helped in implementing, is it really adding value to the stakeholders? Are they using the solution that you helped in implementing? So there are a couple of questions. If they're not using, why are they not using? Are they finding difficulty in understanding what that particular software is, or are they not trained enough? So you have to really dig deeper and understand why possibly the people who are supposed to use the system, why are they not using it, and are they not finding value out of it? So this is like a gist of the life of a business analyst and the way you conduct business analysis. And in order to do that, you would need a certain number of techniques. So you would be getting into a lot of brainstorming. So half of your life is like talking to people, right? So you get into brainstorming, interviews, workshops, you conduct interviews to gather requirements. Basically, then you do a little bit about, you get into prioritization. Prioritization is a technique where, let's say, stakeholders give you 50 requirements. Okay, so now out of 50 requirements, they will say 48 out of that is of high priority. Now, is that really the case? Is it possible that you implement all 48 requirements of high priority right from the beginning? It may not be possible. So as a business analyst, you have to figure out the benefit and the cost, or maybe certain other factors, and then figure out, okay, we will go ahead and implement these requirements in the beginning, and we will look at the other requirements at a later point in time. So that's the kind of prioritization. Then they start looking at process modeling, prototyping. So there are so many techniques, and the business analysis body of knowledge, it covers like 50 techniques. And it would be good to know all these 50 techniques, because based on the scenario, you can really start applying those techniques. So I'm not going to cover that for today's session, but then I just wanted to give you a glimpse of the fact that there are so many techniques out there which can make things easy for you as a business analyst. So now that brings me to the next question on why in the world should you do business analysis? So so you're probably wondering, why in the world should you do business analysis? Or like, why should organizations need a new department or a new skill set or a new profession to deliver value to organizations? So why can't they just rely on the existing marketing team or the engineering team or the finance or the accounting people to, solve their business problems? So, after all, organizations hire the best of the people from the best of the schools in order to get their work done. So there could be questions arising in your mind. Why do we need to conduct business analysis? Do we need an additional professional to do that? is business analysis just another fad, like some fancy term of business analysis and all that. So there was this interesting comparison of software development to a bridge by Alfred Spector. So he was the president of Transarc Corp in 1986. So he compared software development with bridges. So any developers out here or software developers who can think of any resemblance or any kind of difference between bridges and software development? Yeah. Anyone? Can you figure out any kind of resemblance or difference? So at this point, maybe I would like to call upon Asif uncle. He's my uncle. So he is in IBM and he's like he has been into development for a really, really long time, and he's like a big manager now out there. So Asif uncle, can you just tell me why, I mean, can you really figure out whether there's any kind of resemblance or difference?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the question.
Yeah, I think you were not listening. So did you sleep off?
I think I did.
Okay, so let me come back to the question. Do you see any kind of resemblance between bridges and software development, or any kind of difference? Can you think?
No, I see a lot of resemblance, because you see a lot of common components
Okay.
assembled together to achieve a final result.
Good. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, what Alfred said was, he said bridges are, I mean, he had a different take on this subject. What he said was, bridges are normally built on time, they are built on budget, and they do not fall down. But is that the case with software? So on the other hand, software, they never come on time, they're never on budget, and to make matters worse, it kind of breaks down also. So one of the biggest reasons bridges come in on time and mostly on budget and they do not fall down is because of the extreme detail given to the requirements and design. So now when it comes to software requirements, at least in the initial days, maybe there was not so much emphasis given on the software requirements and details, and that's why systems used to break so frequently. So there was this study conducted by the Standish Group. So they are a research advisory organization. So I'm trying to just move my slide. Yeah. A research advisory organization that focuses on software development performance. So they conducted a study back in 1994. So yeah, so like Asif Uncle said, there are some quite a little bit of from a component wise and the structure wise, there is resemblance, but what differed was the fact that what resulted in the failure of software development is that it resulted in, because of incomplete requirement specifications, because of frequently changing requirement specifications, there was a lot of projects out there, maybe about 31% of the projects, they just got canceled before they even got completed. So about 53% of projects, they got completed and operational, but they were over budget, they were over the time estimate, and they got implemented with fewer features and functions than the originally specified, whatever was specified initially. So in short, there was just 16% of the projects that got completed on time and on budget with all the features and functions implemented. So there was this kind of a study done as to what was the major factors. So apparently incomplete requirements and specifications and changing requirements and specifications seem to be causing the maximum number of errors in system development projects. And yeah, that's pretty much, you can see the emphasis that's given on requirements. When requirements are not clearly gathered or clearly defined, that can result in failure. So yeah, that brings me to an interesting picture. Like typically, the way customer explains a requirement and what gets implemented in the end, so this is how the project leader understood it, how the engineer designed it, how the programmer wrote it, and finally what the customer really needed was just a tire hanging from a tree. But then the way it was explained and the way it was written and the way it was understood, that made a lot of difference in the way the product was ultimately delivered. So unclear, incomplete, or wrong requirements, it inevitably leads to the development of a system that does not do what's essential from a business point of view, or may have aspects that were not needed in the first place. So, and to make matters worse, these errors typically get discovered only in later project phases, or once the system has been deployed. So in the later part of development, or in the later part when a defect or a defect occurs, what happens is that it results in a lot of cost in fixing it. So it's important that you get things straight right in the beginning. So for instance, the effort to fix a requirement defect is up to 20 times higher if the correction is done during the development phase, as opposed to the requirements gathering phase. So now if you get the requirements clarified right from the beginning, that would save you 20 times effort to fix. Like, if it occurs in the development phase, it would require 20 times more effort. And if it happens in the user acceptance testing phase, so that's when suppose it's about to get released and deployed, and when it's when at that phase that you discover a defect or an error, you may even take 100 times more effort to get that fixed. So that's the importance of understanding requirements and getting it right from the beginning. And thanks to business analysts and the emphasis on getting requirements straight from the beginning, that has resulted in saving time, effort, and money. So a little bit about how we applied business analysis we are a training organization. So how did we go about business analysis? So the problem that we tried to address was things were being done, conventional ways of conducting training. We realized, okay, if we still stick to conventional ways of conducting training, that will be a deterrent to global expansion. So in the beginning, I said our motive, our future state was to become world's #1 leader in the business analysis certification and skill development skill development area. So now, if we just stick to conventional ways of conducting training, that will not help us in expanding globally. So there are a couple of problems that we tried addressing. Like our trainings were conducted in classrooms, so that was a major deterrent in global expansion, because people couldn't attend from anywhere in the world. They would only those who are situated around that locality could start attending those trainings. Then there was a lot of admin tasks, like redundant tasks like printing receipts or program completion certificates. They had to be printed out and given to people, allocating students to different programs. So all those were manual tasks, and we identified those as problems, and we thought, okay, let's do some kind of automation and get these manual tasks out of the picture. So there was also trainers. Our trainers were limited to the location back then, because we just had to depend on the best trainers in that locality. So that was one aspect. Then our student experience, how could we really work out on the student experience? Because we had to print out study materials, we had to distribute that. And in order to sit for certification exams, we didn't have a system back then where they could actually get a real life exam experience. So there were a couple of problems that we tried to address in our organization. And then we came up with some solution. Okay, so one of the solution was to develop a comprehensive learning management system which could save BAs time and money on their certification journey to become the best BA they can be. So there were a couple of problems, and we started addressing them one by one. So the first thing was classroom training. So when we decided to go global, we started looking at live online sessions. So although online trainings and things were are just a recent concept for many of us, like, online classes, but we embraced that a couple of years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago. We started looking at live online sessions. We listed everything, all the sessions in the portal, and when it's time to join, students have to click that particular link, and then they can join the session. So there were also other redundant tasks that we automated, like, students could just register for a course. They could we would list our courses, and then they could sign up and get immediate access to all the study resources. So they would see their receipts, they would see their program completion certificate, everything comes in their portal. So there was a lot of automation done in that area. Then we could pick up the best of the trainers from all over the world. So today we have BABOK authors and exam setters in our faculty team. So that's because we have gone from a classroom-based approach to an online-based approach. So that's when we were able to pick up the best of the trainers from across the globe. We started developing online study aids, and we put them all in our learning management system. So all the learning videos are there, study guides are there, flashcards, audiobooks. So there is a lot of content out there, and that really enhanced the student experience. So so that gave us a lot of brand recognition. There was a lot of aspect. People started associating, okay, if you want to clear your exam in the first attempt, this is where you have to go to. So that kind of a mindset started coming in, and we were also able to give them a real life exam experience by having that in our learning management system. So these are the kind of in a nutshell, I would say this is the kind of change that we brought about in our organization. So now if you look at it, how can BAs add value to organizations? So BAs can do so many things in so many areas. They can really look at improving the organization performance by helping the organization adopt new technology. They can help in cost reduction through automation, or you can enhance the customer satisfaction with better product quality. You can start prioritizing requirements, assess the kind of solution, whether it has been successful or not. So there are so many things and so many ways in which you can add value to organizations. So that brings me to some elements in order to become a successful business analyst. So in order to become a successful business analyst, you would need to know you would need to have BA process knowledge. So BAs typically carry out certain number of things, like, they plan their workout, they do elicitation, they get into requirements lifecycle management, they look at requirements analysis and design definition, then they look at strategy analysis or solution evaluation. So there are so many things that a BA looks at. So in order to become successful, you have to understand the process as a whole. You have to develop some kind of behavioral skills, like, the way you interact with people, probably your analytical skills or your creative thinking. Everything has to you have to really work out on those areas, like how you negotiate with your stakeholders, how do you interact with them, your writing skills, your communication skills, and so many more aspects have to be looked into. Then comes technology skills. Now, how much of technology should you really know? It's good to know about the technology that is evolving, so that you can help your stakeholders by help them, your business users, in coming up with better solutions. So if you also have domain knowledge, it's well and good, but it's not mandatory that you have to have domain knowledge as a business analyst, because it's the concept that matters. The way you work no matter which domain you are in, it is pretty much the same. So it's just understanding the domain a little further that will help you in performing better. So once you are into a new project, you can pick up from that time also. It's not necessary that you have to have a lot of domain knowledge in order to start your career as a business analyst. So then comes recognition. So today there are a lot of certifications. IIBA is the world's most renowned certification provider. Like, they are the business analysis, the International Institute of Business Analysis. So they have come up with certifications like CBAP, CCBA, ECBA. Now, if you are a newbie or you're aspiring to become a business analyst, the entry certificate to business analysis would be suitable for you. So there are, even IIBA has recognized the need that there can be a need for newer certifications or people who wish to transition into a business analysis career. So they are trying to meet the needs of such people as well, and there are certifications for that. Now, how to launch your career as a business analyst? So these are like some 10 quick tips on how you can launch. First of all, try to learn BA processes. So there is a framework called APQC framework. So it's something related to American Process Control. I'm not exactly sure about the full form, but then there is an APQC framework which tells you a lot about the way, the processes in which various industry carries out their work, like, be it marketing or finance or HR. There are several areas or departments, and they have certain processes. So that would be a good base for you to get some insights into BA processes. Start with ECBA training and certification. Try to become a trained and certified BA. That would give you some base into starting as a business analyst. Try to learn the BA tools. There are so many tools out there like Jira, Balsamic, MS Visio, then Confluence. So many tools are there which you can get a hold of. Try to learn the relevant domain. Hone your behavioral skills, learn the basics of business. Now, if you don't land into a BA job immediately, at least try to seek for internship opportunities. So when you work in an organization for 3 to 4 months, that's when you get some good insights on how to go about business analysis, how do organizations typically carry out their work. And then once you get some hold of it, you can start looking for BA jobs. Become an IIBA member. Like, you're an IEEE member, you can also become an IIBA member and join the local BA chapter, or you can start volunteering in the business analysis community. So this is pretty much how you can launch your career as a business analyst. And yeah, that brings me to pretty much the end of the webinar, where I would like to say, in order to be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. So, and there was this joke by someone, Jonathan, who said that when people talk about business analysis, all those times the people say somebody should look into that. So business analyst, BA, is the person who will look into that. So they may have, everyone may have certain needs, and they'll be like, okay, they are stuck with it, so let's call the BA to figure out how we can move forward. So yeah, so overall, business analysis, it's all about incorporating technology with business. So if you have a good understanding of business and an understanding of IT systems, you will be able to come up with meaningful solutions. And it is this integration between business and IT that gives businesses a competitive edge over the others and enables progression to take place quicker. So that's what I wanted to cover today. So just to give you a gist of what business analysis is and how you can go about it. So thank you so much for being patient and listening to me today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. It was a really wonderful talk. Now I think we can spend a few minutes on some questions and clarifications, etc. So I think please unmute yourself and raise your questions. I don't know whether there is already some in the chat box. Kitin, if there are anything in the chat box, can you reel out?
We don't have any questions in the chat box yet.
Okay. So those who are attending, anybody?
Yeah, sir. Good evening. I'm Jitin here, Jitin Krishnan.
Yeah.
So I have a small question. So basically, I work in a R&D environment where we try to translate our design into products, and that product will be commercialized and translated to a viable product in the market. So how do you find that the business analysis for a product or a new product, which can be brought into market after some 5-10 years? So how do you go about that?
Okay, so again, yeah, from a business analysis point of view, bringing a new product into market, that's really thinking ahead of time, and that's pretty much certain organizations already start investing into research and development before bringing out a product into the market. So the same concept applies. Like, you have to do a market study there. So the approach in that case would be to figure out who are you trying to address, like the market, the kind of customers who will be using your solution. There would not be any kind of benchmarking available at that point, so you will not be possibly able to do some kind of benchmarking studies, but try to assess the kind of demand that you will have in when you try to launch that product. And again, the steps would still be the same. You would have to, if you're into product development, definitely there also you would have to pay a lot of attention to requirements gathering, right? So that particular phase is very critical for you as a business analyst in the R&D space. You have to spend considerable amount of time in understanding the requirements exactly and putting the requirements across clearly so that your development team understands what it is, and they can work towards coming up with the right kind of need. Even in R&D projects, the whole concept of business analysis would still be the same. It's about requirements understanding, requirements gathering, and trying to validate the requirements, like basically whatever requirements you have written down, is it really addressing the need of your business user? And finally coming up with a solution and delivering it into the market. So
and one more question in line with that. So how far we can rely on the CNAG reports and the market surveillance studies? So we need to pay for that for getting the study reports and all. And they will, please carry on.
Yeah. So the report from that point of view, CAG reports, I'm not sure if it is paid, but then yes, at least we would have some base to start with, right? Like, rather than going on a blank slate, if somebody has already done some kind of research and they have come up with some studies, it would be a good base to start with, rather than having no idea about the need, or just starting from nowhere. So I think it would be good to refer to those kind of studies in order to come with a useful solution.
Yeah, what I asked actually because I work in the medical industry, so we had to invest a much of money, means very big amount of money in over the R&D development and in clinical trials, and before putting the device in the market for the validation and viability, we needed that much, a huge amount of money than software or other hardware devices.
Okay.
So if we go up with a business analysis plan or a CAG report study, and after 5 years, if we see that the product is not viable, or the commercial status or commercial translation is not that much good for the product, so the whole industry will go sink actually.
True. So yeah, it's important that you keep in sync with the market. Like, you spend a lot of time in research, and by the time it comes out of the market, if it does not have any kind of relevance at that point, yes, you will lose a lot of money and effort and time. All your time would have gone, waste, I would say. Yeah. So
this is Balakrishnan.
Yeah.
I would like to have a few questions to to you. Basically, I am from a design and manufacturing organization, and you are also referring to in your one of the slides about product quality. Okay, so how do you ensure this factor through BA?
Okay, so quality means quality can be a different concept for many people. So what may be a quality product to you may not be a quality product to me. So so the thing is like when it comes to quality in mind, you have to look at certain standards. Okay, if it is following certain aspects, like if you can keep your there are a lot of certification and studies out there where you have quality requirements, like if you do certain things in a certain way, that is considered as a quality product. So when it comes to requirements from a quality perspective, what we look as a business analyst from a requirements writing point of view is like we ensure that there are certain aspects to keep in mind, like is the requirement atomic, is the requirement concise, is the requirement consistent. Like, you know, you cannot write a requirement to you can't write stories in a requirement, like, you know, it's so big that you cannot break it down. So from a quality aspect in terms of requirement, you have to ensure that you break down the requirement to the best extent possible so that people can understand, your development team, whoever is going to work on it, they can at least understand the requirement clearly, so there is no conflict in that requirement. There is you know, I can show you in the business analysis body of knowledge as to what are the quality parameters that you look out for in requirements. So this is what I was trying to say. Like if you look at the body of knowledge, it tells you from a requirements point of view, you have to keep certain aspects in mind. So that is here. So where you look at, yeah, this is what I was saying. So whether it is atomic, whether it is complete, you know, complete enough for that, so that somebody else can start working on it, whether it is consistent, whether it is concise, feasible, unambiguous. You know, ambiguity is what causes a lot of issues. So as long as your requirements are unambiguous, it is explained and written in such a manner that there is no lack of clarity, that means it is easy to develop and people can, your developers don't have any kind of doubts in that. And then you get into whether the requirement is testable, it can be prioritized, whether it is understandable. So these are the couple of quality aspects that you check in requirements from a business analysis point of view. Yeah.
Okay, so if I tell you, if I put it in a different words, that means in a manufacturing organization, it is the quality product that has to go out, and there should not be any field returns, if I am right. Okay, so if that is the case, if that is the intention, then basically when you talk about BA, it is as good as implementing a process which can make defect-free product. Am I right?
Sort of, yes, that's pretty much right. Because in software, we are looking at, again, coming up with a defect-free software. So in your manufacturing process, you're looking at coming with a product or a process which is kind of defect-free. You take a look at so many aspects, and then you ensure that your product is of high quality, doesn't break, or it doesn't, I mean, you have certain parameters for quality when it comes to design and manufacturing, right? So that you have to take those parameters into account. So yeah, that's how you apply.
Okay, last one.
One point I was actually trying to ask a sub question to your point.
Yeah.
This, when you look at business analysis, the product design, that is, for example, aesthetics in design. So in China, actually, a lot of consumer products are designed jointly with artists.
Right.
Artists and engineers.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So this actually boosts the volume of business in a big way, and your economic financial success is much larger. So how do you kind of index? Another thing is actually usability, like kitchen products. So there, how friendliness, how you try to bring. So this, how do you factor out this?
Yeah. So again, that is like user experience is a very, very critical factor nowadays. If people, no matter how complex or how much of functionality you have built into your product, if it is not user friendly, if people can't really navigate at least from one screen to another or do some basic minimum functionalities, like if they cannot meet their needs, that product is just going to get scrapped off, no matter how many features or functionalities you have tried to implement it. So, like you have said correctly, the emphasis on usability. So, if you look at that, that is one non-functional requirement that we take into account. So, if I look at non-functional, so when it comes to business analysis, there are two things. One is like the functional requirement, and the other one is the non-functional requirement. So when it comes to non-functional requirement, if you look, one of the aspects is like usability. So if you see here, there are some factors you have to take into account, like reliability, scalability, security, usability. Usability is a very important factor because that is, it shows, see, you can see here, it is the ease with which a user can learn to use the solution. So that is an important factor as per the business analysis body of knowledge. And as business analysts, we do give due importance to aesthetics, the user experience, and usability from when we look at non-functional requirements. So non-functional requirements, it's nothing but the base, like the foundation upon which you build your software. So these are like in future you have to plan for your software to scale for like 10,000 users. Like currently maybe there's just 500 users, but you would like to scale it up for 10,000 users. So you have to do the groundwork early on. So usability is also one of the critical factors in order to get your product out into the market and sell it at yes, from a selling perspective also, it's very important. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I think Damodaran sir, what I would like to add that is, as you rightly said, it is a target market that attracts the features what they would like to use for easy maneuverability of the product.
Yes.
Whether it is a physical product or a software application, where the human interface HMI is going to come. So that is very right. And last one from my side is this question fully related to BA, where my question is, can it be automated and any AI contribution can benefit?
Yeah. So today there is a lot of influence of artificial intelligence into the kind of products that you're developing. So in our organization, since we are into the training space, so the kind of AI that we implemented was like, there is this speech to text conversion, right? So nowadays there is this concept of audiobooks where people just, we just put in the text and then it just converts it to audio. So there are artificial intelligence tools out there which can help you in coming up with these kind of products. You don't have to, you don't have to sit and read, or a trainer does not have to come and read out these kind of things. Like, if it's just explaining a concept, if you just put that concept in word, an AI tool can do that for you and convert it to an audio or a speech, or they can convert an audio to text. So there is a scope, definitely there's scope depending on the kind of organization or the kind of domain that you are into. Based on that, you have to see what kind of AI tools whether you can implement. So there are even chatbots available there. So if you go to certain sites, there are chatbots. There is no person behind that chat, so you may be getting the perception that it is a live chat and you are trying to interact with somebody from the organization, but that may not be the case. They would have just given some typical questions. There are certain questions asked, and then you give answers to those questions at the back end, and when a user gives that question in, the AI kind of, the chatbot kind of understands, okay, this is what this person wants, and then they give a answer back. So that's how you can bring about automation through artificial intelligence. So yeah, there is scope for that in business analysis.
Thank you, and it was a very informative speech from you today.
Thank you.
Any more questions, please?
Harindalal here, Fatima.
Yes, sir. Yes.
A great presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Definitely, you are the chip of the old block.
Thank you.
Which platform you use for the online training earlier?
Okay, so in-house, I mean, within our organization, we built something called Succeed. But over time, we realized, okay, there are a lot of learning management systems out there which can do much better. I mean, if we just stick on to our current platform, I mean, there's so much going on in the training space that you can really give advanced features or functionalities to your users. So what we did was we did a study of the latest learning management systems which are available in the market, and then we picked up something called Thinkific. So Thinkific, there are so many learning portals available there, like Teachables, Thinkific. Then we also have our in-house product, which is Succeed. So we did a study, and we realized our core competency lies in delivering training. So why should we really invest into developing products? So instead, we can use something which is there in the market, which will satisfy our needs. And if there are certain needs which are not satisfied by the product in the market, we will use our tool for that. So we are today using it was just a recent transition that we did. We are currently using a platform called Thinkific. It has the latest technology, and there is a lot of usability aspects into that. We have put content arranged chapter wise so that students don't have to scramble for resources. They can get all the materials arranged chapter wise. They can interact with the faculty. There's something called a discussion board. So it's pretty interesting as a product. So maybe I can just quickly show it to you how it is currently, the ease of use. So that's where I believe what VKD sir was telling, usability is a very core factor in order to gain the attention of users. I mean, our students should have a very seamless seamless way of learning. So this is the learning management system that we have right now. So all the resources are here. So if you see all the content is arranged chapter wise, then you have what to say, the e-learning videos where the faculty explains things to you. Then you have all the concepts, question banks arranged. So because we conduct certification related programs, we have to prepare our students to start taking questions, right? So they have to sit in a time framed manner, and then within that time they should complete their exam and things like that. So all those aspects have been taken into account. So everything is listed here. If you want audiobooks or if you want flashcards, these are very interesting ways of learning. So flashcard is something like, you can just flip a card and learn.
On the solution which is necessary to meet.
Yeah, so this is kind of an AI. So I just clicked on this audio, and then it just read out to me what that definition is. I didn't really have to record my voice and put it there. So that's a kind of impact that the learning management system or the learning industry itself is undergoing a lot of changes. And I was surprised to see my son's there is something called Lido learning. Okay, you will be amazed to see the kind of portal that they have built. So this is a library. So my son is attending these classes, and they have all the kind of resources there, like they have all the videos, then they have interesting gamifications done to learn concepts in a gamified manner. So you can spot the word, or you can do so many things. So learning portals and the way teaching is currently, it's evolving, and people are finding tremendous benefit in the learning and education space. So that's what I wanted to tell about our the way the portal that we are using now. And there are so many portals available for learning management systems also. So yeah.
One more aspect.
Yeah.
You said there is a shortcoming in the online training for the lack of eye-to-eye contact. The attention window of the participants are very much reduced.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, so the approach to that is engagement. So if you just keep on talking and talking for 1-2 hours, I'm pretty sure your audience will just doze off in between. So the approach that our trainers have taken is it's highly interactive. So like I could just ask a couple of questions today because of time constraints, but then today the way online education has evolved is like the trainer asks you a question, you are bound to answer. You know, you have to be fresh in your class, you have to be awake, you have to listen, you have to answer and be interactive. Okay, so today probably there are organizations, I mean training institutes, which even ask their users to turn on their cameras. So it, you know, sometimes it's not that comfortable for people to just turn on their cameras, but then if it's just a small group of 5 to 10 people, so they can turn on their cameras, make it as live as possible, as interactive as possible, so that it doesn't give a feeling like you are not there with that person. So even my son's classes are online, and I see a lot of interaction from the teacher with the students, because the teachers tell them, okay, do this, draw this, show it to me. So that way I don't see a difference between classroom programs. I mean where you go to school, and there's no difference as such from, I mean, times are changing and you have to really adapt to that. So the attention span, how to retain is, it's all about dealing with them in a fun and lively manner. Keep asking them questions, get their feedback, engage with them. That's how you keep that momentum going on.
There's a couple of questions in the chat box by your uncle. You can go through that and answer that.
Where is it? Okay, I see the participant list, more chats. Okay. Yeah, so I see Shani. Thank you, Fatima. Okay, would like to know if it can be adopted in a service sector. Yeah, Shani. So if you're looking at service sector, you can possibly look at it from a technology adoption perspective. If you really have, if you really have any portal, like, you know, there is this. What is that? Recently, I hired a service from a cleaning service. So yeah,
Urban
they have,
company.
yeah, urban company. That's right, Shani. So they have utilized technology in the sense it has made it so convenient for people to just go in, book a session. I mean, book a date, book a specific time where they could just come in, clean things for you. They will tell you, okay, these are the things. So that, from a technology point of view, adopting that kind of a solution will be easy for you. I mean, it will be better in the sense people have accessibility to your services rather than having them to call you up and then inquire and book. People are more comfortable today with applications and mobile devices, and if they can book things instantly, that would be a great value add to the service sector. So yeah.
But how would a BA really help us to identify the market or analyze the market to tell us that, okay, this sector would be, or what could be the kind of revenue which will be generated?
Okay.
See, investing on a technology is a big investment. So will there be an ROI? Will the business analyst be able to tell us that?
Okay. Yeah. So technology is one aspect. Then the other aspect that the BA would typically get into is probably understanding where you are currently and where you can be in future. So trying to understand the different needs that you have, you know, what is that stumbling factor, like what is really blocking you from going ahead. So you may have certain interests in your mind you would like to achieve. So and so sometimes you would have to take that leap ahead and go ahead. I mean, you may think it's a major investment, but then that can probably bring out some kind of returns to you. So that kind of an analysis has to be done then, and that starts with your business needs. So first of all, you have to really suggest what is it that you're looking out for, and the BA could probably help you in And that's when a business strategy analyst probably comes into play. But the business need analyst, they typically get into the requirements of the technology, the solution, I would say, like, the software or the product that you're going to implement. So BAs are at different levels. So if you engage a BA at a strategy level, they can give you some kind of an assessment about, okay, this is where you are currently. You have to do these many things in order to achieve your target market or your target revenue. So definitely BAs at different levels can help you out in that area by doing a competitor analysis. Okay, this is what your other service providers are giving in the other service sectors. This is the kind of thing that they do. So as a business user, you may not have so much time to get into that. So all these studies and all these findings and conclusions will be provided by the BA, and it is ultimately up to the business user to take it forward or not. So that's how a BA would typically add value to your organization.
Thank you, Fatima.
Thank you. Thanks, Ratna Kupar. Yeah, business plan pro from Palo Alto. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Okay, thank you. Does your organization give business analysis to set up new business? For example, calculate return on investment. Is there software? Okay. So ours is more in, we used to do consulting assignments earlier, but then if there is a need, because our co-founder is into that space, but then currently of late, we are just getting into training and skill building for business analysts, like getting them prepared for certification exams and getting them equipped with the right knowledge to perform their BA activities. So that's what we are into currently. But if there is a need, there's always, room to write to us, and then we can work out opportunities. So it's not something that we haven't done before, but currently this is our focus. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Mac Trivandrum. Thank you, Shinju. Yes, Ratnakupar. Yeah. Thank you so much, all of you, for that, for those comments. Yeah. Any other questions at this point? I think I've already taken a lot of time on Saturday evening.
Okay, we would like to relieve you, but before that, Jitin Krishnan of Srijitra, our CNAG executive, are you still on? Jitin Krishnan? Okay, I would maybe Harindralal sir, can you propose a vote of thanks?
Once again, congratulations to Fathima Suhair for the great presentation.
Thank you.
A lot of information packed into that. We are new to this field. We could gain and gather from your talk.
Yeah, thanks.
On behalf of the organization and the participants, I extend my sincere thanks for a very great presentation. Very immaculately done. As I have mentioned earlier, tip of the old block. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I thank all the participants for your time in attending the program.
And for the lively discussion.
And the lively, and responding to the lively discussions, Fatima. Okay.
Thank you so much. It was like a good experience for me as well in terms of understanding the various requirements that people across different industries have. I mean, we had somebody asking question about the manufacturing and design. Then there was somebody from the R&D, somebody from the service sector. So really insightful session. And I am so thankful to all of you at CNAG for giving me this wonderful opportunity and helping me interact with a lot of consultants and aspiring business analysts out there. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.